Hello everyone and welcome to today's News Tonight, the weeknight news show where we're joined by special guests and our lovely patrons to discuss the day's gaming news. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined by my lovely co-founders and good friends, Ash Polson and Steve Bowling. Welcome guys. How y'all doing?
Hey, happy Monday. Happy President's Day Monday, I guess.
It's nice to have a, good president.
Yeah, right.
Well, as far as we know so far.
It's so far. We can at least, we can somewhat celebrate President's Day again.
This is the only day you can unironically say thanks, Obama.
That's true. Really well said.
Yeah.
True.
That is true. That is very true. Did you guys have a good weekend?
Man,
yeah.
I did.
It's all right.
A really great weekend.
That's good.
Just a lot of
Nice.
family time, which I really enjoy. And Valentine's Day, I got to go out, which was really nice. That's a rare occurrence.
Yeah.
Definitely
Right.
took full advantage of getting to be an adult. I think I had my first actual drink in like a year. So, the wife and I went to dinner, no kids, got to actually have a beer with my dinner. It just felt good to remember that I am a grown man and I don't have to just, serve people juicy juice all day.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I can tell you that I am not a father, so I don't have to worry about that aspect of things. But just being able to go out, my wife and I will go out once every couple of weeks because things have opened up back in LA, but we're of course still very careful. We only go to certain restaurants that we feel are socially distanced enough with the tables, but I will never again take for granted just going out and having some beer at an izakaya or just going out to eat, because it's just it's a rare, special thing now in the after times, the COVID times. So I hear you, man. Yeah, and so to have that plus the pressure of fatherhood and parenthood, that's got to be, I'm not surprised it's been a year since you've been out.
Yeah, Derek knows a thing or two about fatherhood. How was your weekend, man?
It was good. I just sort of took it easy, and the tricky thing is for Valentine's Day, I got her the Final Fantasy XIV Complete Edition on PS4 because we signed up for the free trial both together on my computer. Unfortunately, Square does not allow you to take your account free trial from PC to PS4. So there's not really a good way for her to play on my PC. So it's like, oh, perfect. I'll get her Complete Edition. But then we run into the trouble of, well, she wants to make good use of her first month free trial and actually have time for it. So now we're trying to find a good chunk of time so she can actually activate it and enjoy the full content and get in there. And I know it's not like the most romantic gift or anything like that, but it's one of those things where it's like it made her so happy, and that made me happy because she's been wanting to dive back into it for a while, and I'm excited to do the same. I'm hoping to, obviously been talking about it a bit, and starting up again in Final Fantasy XIV. I'll be playing the PC version, still off only the free trial. I'll eventually get the complete edition on PC, but that was nice. But it didn't really do a whole lot else on Valentine's. We still have our, every Friday I got to watch WandaVision, all that stuff.
Nice.
Yes.
That's always a lot of fun. And as far as Kai news, it's crazy. This kid is growing up so fast. Because I'm able to, he likes to stand, kinda.
Yeah.
He'll put his feet down, he'll stand up. I can just sort of balance him. In my keep him steady, but he'll mostly stand on his own and be mostly balanced. I'll steady him on the most bit, but it's kid's not even crawling yet, and he's standing like that. It's oh my god, it's a weird feeling.
He starts to crawl, he will be unrecognizably skinny compared to how he is now. The amount of
the pudge
weight that a baby drops when they become ambulatory is ridiculous, almost concerning. But back to what you said about gifts. I don't think that there's anything wrong with giving a loved one or a significant other a game or something like that for a gift. If you follow me on Twitter, my wife bought me a controller mod kit for the Switch Pro controller, and I loved it. It was my favorite thing. She gave me just a couple of hours to sit down and disassemble a Pro controller and install LEDs in it and stuff. And I mean, here's the finished product. It's actually really
fancy.
cool. I really like it. But
that's awesome.
It's not a traditionally romantic gift, but I mean, it spoke to who I am, and I really liked that she was thoughtful enough to think, what do I like to do? I like to tinker, and I love video games. So she got me something that neatly combined both of those things. And I think, we all know Amy's a gamer. She likes to play games, so I'd say it's a thoughtful gift.
And she was very kind with my gift. Like, she got me a sort of backpack kit. I don't even know how to explain it. Basically, stuff to help your back while you're holding a baby. A little seat, a little saddle that you can strap onto yourself. Put him on, and all of a sudden, all the weight's on that and not my back.
Is
that nice? I don't put it on all the time.
Bjorn, isn't it?
I think
like where they're slotted in and they're facing your chest.
Well, this one has all kinds. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it can be on your back, on your front, facing you, facing away from you. It has all these options for as he gets bigger and all that. So he's good for a while. And yeah, there's times where I'm holding him for because he's a heavy boy, and having the ability to not have my back screaming by the time I put him down is nice. Yeah. I gotta use him more often, but it's because I'm still in oh right, I have that thing. I should use it.
Yeah, I mean. As Steve was saying, what's romantic and what isn't really is in the eye of the beholder. It depends on your love language. What appeals to you. So a video game can be just as romantic a gift as flowers or chocolate. And my wife and I, we just went traditional. We never really have gone all out for Valentine's Day. So we didn't really get each other like presents. I got her some flowers and took her out on a picnic and got her a book that she'd been looking forward to. And she just got me some chocolates, and we just spent the day together. And it's funny. She's a flowers girl, and I'm a chocolates guy. She doesn't like chocolate or candy or anything, so she gets me the chocolates. But she got me some nice Godiva chocolates, and we just had a nice. We went over to Culver City Park, had a nice little picnic, and watched some shows, and just kind of spent quality time together. She's getting caught up on Cobra Kai, so we watched a few episodes of Cobra Kai. We watched a couple of Netflix docs, and just had kind of a nice. Chill weekend together. I was also playing some Last of Us Part 2 in front of her, and she got really into the story, so I had to catch her up on everything up to where I am in the game, which is like around 30-ish hours in, 30 to 33 hours in. So I had to
start over so I can see it from the beginning.
I already started over once because I started playing it, then it got sidetracked, and then I was at that weird limbo where, okay, do I keep going and forget some of the finer bits of storytelling, or do I just start over? And I decided to start over, and I'm glad I did, but I don't want to start over again. So I want to finish this game already to see what happens. I
hear you.
Well, real quick before we dive into the news for today, of course we have a sponsor, and Monday's sponsor, as per usual, is the Game Orb. And this episode of TNT is brought to you by the Game Orb. They are a fledgling channel focused mostly on Nintendo content. It's currently running Let's Plays of Unbox Newbie's Adventure, Splatoon 2, Super Mario 35, and more. So you should subscribe to the Game Orb at the link in the description, and let's get them. I forgot to check this before we started, but they better be at 100 subscribers because I asked last time and I said we should do it
right now.
I want to see it.
Please.
Yes, 104 subscribers.
Hell 104. Yeah. Nice.
Thank you.
Good job, everyone. Yes. I am so proud. Let's get them to 200 now. Let's see if we can get. We'll be modest. Let's see if we can get to 150 by next week. 200 by the end of the next week after that. I want to see that keep rising. But Thank you so much for supporting the Game Orb. Thank you so much to the Game Orb for supporting us. And just be sure to check out their channel. But let's say we get to the news, everyone. And first up is some more Square Enix news, as they've shown off new Nier Replicant version 1.2 gameplay. And I honestly not had a chance to sit down and watch it myself outside of the opening bit. But my first impression from that first 30 seconds was, God, this game looks good. And two, God, it's weird to see young Nier.
Right? I've been skipping around and watching bits and pieces of the video, some exploration, some combat, and guys, I'm so excited for this game. It's no secret that I loved Nier Automata, loved it, and I'm hearing this music as I watch this Nier Replicant gameplay, and it is it's reminding me of the Nier Automata soundtrack, and the gameplay, it just looks so fun. And I didn't play the original Nier, so I don't really have much of a reference point other than knowing what happens in it because of Automata, because it's kind of a direct sequel in a way. But other than that, I never played the originals, so this is my first time essentially seeing the first game in action, even though it's a remake. And man, you guys, I'm excited for this. I am excited for this.
Yeah, me too. I went through a weird period where Square would randomly, without me asking, because I assumed I just wouldn't get it, they would offer me codes for really great games. They randomly cold emailed me and was like, "Hey, you want a free copy of Nier Automata?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" And I played it and I was just blown away by it. I still haven't finished it, but I need to. They did the same thing with Final Fantasy 15. They were like, "Hey, the brand new Final Fantasy is out. Do you want to try it?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I do." I just assumed you wouldn't let me have it. So I'm looking at the footage right now. If you're watching TNT, you can see the trailer playing, and I gotta say, this looks awesome. I want to try this so bad.
It is such a big difference. Just in this town that we're seeing, that you see in the beginning. It is incredible to see how much of a facelift it got. Because I'm the weird one. I've only played Nier in preparation for Nier Automata, but never got the chance to play Nier Automata yet. I want to. It's on my list, but I've only played the original Nier, and it is a fantastic game. Well, it's a fantastic story with fantastic music and fantastic characters and a fantastic world with okay gameplay. It's very samey. And the gameplay I've seen, I haven't got to the gameplay part of this trailer, but the gameplay I've seen from other little trailers for Replicant look fantastic. It looks like such an improvement. And my God, the just visual upgrade for this is incredible. You guys are in for a treat playing through this, and it's. I mean, if you're familiar with Nier Automata, you know that when you get to the ending, it's not the ending, and the way they have the alternate, the second playthrough and all that stuff that they do, so revelatory what happens, and it's so fascinating. And I'm curious how they're going to handle some things, because there's some really strange choices that are made gameplay wise for some portions of the story. And seeing what they stick with it. I don't know. I'm really excited for it. Also, I've noticed that Kaine has her design is at least from what I remember quite a bit different, because there's nothing covering her backside from how I can tell. It's like string, but I'm like, I don't remember her butt being out that much. It's like, okay. Eduardo Tena, is Drakengard ever even necessary to understand Nier's story? No. I mean, you can watch Klemp's video on the Drakengard series to get a sense of it, but nah, you really don't. But it does add a bit more flavor to it.
Yeah, and speaking as someone who's played Automata in its entirety, I would, and hadn't played the original, I would say that it would help to have played the original before Automata, but it's certainly not required to enjoy the game, because I still enjoy the hell out of it. And the game tells you enough about what you need to know from the first game for you to still really enjoy the plot twists and such that happen in Automata. So, I think if you can play them both in order, definitely do so, but you don't have to if you just want to play Automata.
Yeah. I'm excited. Do we have a release date for this? I completely forget.
It's March something. It's like March 17th. Something like that. I
want to say it's coming up.
It's my bad. It's April 22nd. It's not March at all. It's April 22nd. Okay. Oh wait, no, that's a lie. That's the original game. That is the original game. Let's see.
Yeah, start putting in all the numbers, man. 1 point.
I know, it's so annoying.
Yeah, version 1 point whatever. That's Yoko Taro.
Okay.
Here's the crazy thing.
April 23rd.
Nice.
Okay. So real quick crazy thing, Ash, because I know you've been tempted to get into Final Fantasy XIV yourself.
Yes.
There's Nier Automata content in that game, from my understanding.
I know. I've heard there is.
It's canon.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. So that's another reason I need to play it, which, as I said, I really do think I'm going to start with the PS5 version. So I'm not going to jump in right away. I'm going to wait for the PS5 version. I know you're jumping in pretty much right away,
Oh.
Derek, but I'm going to wait till PS5.
Yeah.
Well, hello. We have a piece of breaking news.
Ooh,
Yes, from Naughty Senpai, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Senpai upping their pledge from $5 all the way up to $25, joining the EP squad.
Oh, my.
Wow, thank you so much.
That's a very nice move. That's not naughty at all.
No, and you noticed us. We were noticed by Naughty Senpai. Thank you so much for your support.
I don't know what it
gosh.
means to be noticed by a naughty senpai.
But I know I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go, Jesse. There's your first bit of out of context content.
There you
Kong
go.
facts cross naughty senpai.
I'm actually rather impressed with how true to the original list still is. Watching through this,
Me too.
But either way, we should go ahead and move on to our next topic. Gonna pop that on. G4 TV has returned from the dead with X-Play, Attack of the Show, and more. Which I saw this, but I didn't realize how crazy it actually was. It has its YouTube out, and they got an esports show, G4, an esports show, X-Play, and Attack of the Show. All playing throughout the day, I guess. Starting on Friday, February 12th. Did anybody watch this? Because I've not too familiar with it, so I'm not sure how well it went.
I have not yet. I'm mildly curious to check out X-Play. I mean, I used to watch X-Play back in the day. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it for what it was. There were times where I really enjoyed Adam Sessler, Morgan Webb, and whoever it was who was Morgan Webb's predecessor. I can't remember her name, unfortunately, at the moment.
That was
that
was back on Tech TV, so that's way
exactly.
before.
Yeah. And I enjoyed it for what it was, but X-Play always did have a very anti-Japanese game dev bent. It was all very pro-Western, very anti-Nintendo, anti-JRPG stuff, and then that's not really my thing. But I still enjoyed it for what it was, and so I'm mildly curious to see how G4 looks and sounds and feels in its new incarnation. But it's not something that I've been like begging for and hoping would come back, right? Like I'm going to go out of my way for.
Yeah, G4 TV reminded me of the at-home version of GameStop's in-house TV network back in the day. Like it was more an extension of marketing to an extent. And I feel like it was more for the quote unquote gamer. the one that everyone
Capital
hates.
G.
I felt like it had more respect for games as a medium than anything else on Spike TV. So it's like at least it's somewhat more, at least it's entertaining and fun. And
the one thing I want to point out though, as a YouTuber, why is this on 4 different channels?
Yeah, that's
why.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
That's really strange.
That to me is like nails on a chalkboard level annoying. If I like G4 TV, these are all G4 properties. Why are they not just on one centralized channel with maybe a 15-minute break in between shows or something? I get that the shows run back to back, but they're never concurrent. So you could just run them on one channel. I don't understand the strategy behind making 4 separate channels and asking your viewership to subscribe to 4 different. I don't know. I'm sure there's some reason. Somebody probably advised them that this was a good choice, but it just seems bizarre to me.
Well, and I'm not sure I understand their namesake show, G4, being at 5:15 in the morning Pacific. I don't.
Yeah.
Is anybody really getting up at 5:15 in the morning to watch G4?
I get that folks on the it's a weird time slot in general because folks on the East Coast it's 8:15. That's the start of an adult's work day or even a kid's school day for the most part.
Right.
And it's way too early for folks on the West Coast where most people are probably still sleeping. And I mean, I'm an early riser and I'm still not out of bed at 5. That is
right.
I would hate my life if I was up that early. Yeah, so I don't understand the timing, but I guess if you're doing a morning show, is there really a great time? I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'll never tune in live, for sure, not at 5:15. And it ends by the time I'm really settled in for the day, at 8:15, right?
Well...
Oh, no, you know what? I guess that is a question I have to ask. When do these end? Because now that I think about it, my mind went to it goes from 5 to 8, and now I'm realizing, no...
Right.
Each show is 3 hours apart, and there's no way each show is 3 hours long.
Yeah, I can't imagine a 3-hour long X-Play.
So they're not back to back. They're just shows that air it. The 4 channels make even less sense now.
Well, and I'm looking at X-Play's channel now. Their first upload was 2 weeks ago, and yet they still only have 4 videos. The latest one being, "Would you eat this?" with QT Cinderella. So I'm going to let you draw your own conclusions as to what kind of content maybe we can expect from the new X-Play. I don't want to be too judgmental. It might end up being great,
no.
I hope it is. But
what I hope is that I don't know. I know people were auditioning to be hosts for X-Play on Twitter a while ago, and I know that I liked the people I saw auditioning. I saw a lot of people of color, a lot of content creators that I would love to have on this show. Auditioning for the role, so I don't know if they ended up just going with old members of the G4 crew or who even hosts these shows. But
it looks like it's Adam Sessler, at least for some of them. I think he's the singular host right now. Then he has guests on, and maybe they'll hire a co-host at some point.
I could be
wrong. But right
wrong.
now, it seems to be Adam Sessler.
I could be wrong, but didn't Sessler have some legendarily bad takes? Like, I mean, and I'm not talking, Ocarina of Time is no good. I'm talking transphobic, nasty, gross shit.
That I didn't know.
I don't know, but I have not heard about that.
I want to say that there was a while back that Adam Sessler had a major Twitter meltdown that included some transphobic and homophobic stuff. I don't know. I shouldn't speak out of turn because I don't remember it 100%. And I hope. Oh wait. Okay, yeah. So. Remember when Adam Sessler had a very public transphobic meltdown, and it was retweeted by Tai Rowe from Uppercut, and she is there's I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, Sessler did and said some real gross shit on Twitter a while back.
Well, that's a damn shame.
I'm okay with keeping him out of my feed.
Yeah.
At the very least,
I hope these shows do okay.
Yeah, at the very least, that. Also, Cloud and Collected in our chat, their colleague Rose is the graphic designer, which is very cool. That's a good gig.
That is cool. And a channel is not by any means just one person, so... Unless
the channel is just run by one person.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, shout out to Spawnwave. I love your stuff.
Yeah, I've been doing a few Google searches, and it does seem as though there's some problematic Adam Sessler takes out there, which is really a shame. I didn't know that. That's too bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I always enjoyed his stuff, but there's that. You find out some people's opinions and thoughts and things as you go on. It's like, oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And there
Never
you go.
meet your heroes.
Yeah, very true.
Either way, it's still cool that this is back from a nostalgia point. I'm curious if it can go beyond and really make its own thing on YouTube. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I will at least keep my ear to the ground on this. I don't know that I'm going to be tuning in anytime soon, but because I didn't care for G4 when it was, a thing back then. But I'll at least keep my eye on this, and hopefully it's better than its predecessor. We'll see.
Well, it's just weird because even though it's called X-Play, so far at least in 2 weeks, they haven't shown any interest on the channel at actually bringing the show back. It's just clip-style content, that's fine, but it doesn't seem as though we're getting X-Play in an episodic format. So, not quite sure what's going on with this. Yeah. Guess we'll see how it evolves.
Yeah. Oh, well. All right. Next up.
Alrighty. Here we go.
Ratchet & Clank Life of Pi animated short appears on YouTube, is then taken down, then debuts on February 12th exclusively on Crave as a Ratchet & Clank special in anticipation of Rift Apart, but Insomniac hasn't said anything about it, apparently. I'll be honest, I have not had a chance to look into this.
I haven't gotten to watch this. I don't think I've ever even heard of the Crave network. Where the hell is Crave?
I have no idea what Crave is.
Yeah, like what? And why would they debut it exclusively on this network? Maybe just because I haven't heard of it doesn't mean it isn't really popular, but I haven't heard of it. And Insomniac, maybe they have said something since, but if they did, they haven't said much. And so this whole thing is just a little bit weird, right?
A little bit.
It looks cool. Like, I wouldn't mind watching it.
23 in the chat mentions that Crave is a Canadian streaming service, so I guess it makes sense that we haven't heard of it.
Okay, then.
The show, and this comes from VT and VV on Twitter, the show apparently does credit all the main actors we're familiar with. The company behind this is Mainframe Studios, who was formerly Rainmaker, a.k.a. the 2016 movie company. Directors Mike Alcock and Craig George are known for Spy Kids, Mission Critical, and Ready to Robot. Okay. Sure. I'm not... okay.
So, looking at the Twitter, this from VTN Vivi on Twitter, this kind of broke this down and has some screenshots here. It's a nice animated style. It looks nice. So Ratchet & Clank go on a pizza adventure. Clank looks forward to free pizza thanks to 10 Cosmic Crust pizza coupons he accumulated. Along the way, they encounter Nefarious's new interdimensional portal device and discover a pizza dimension, which, to me, it's one of two things. It's either a pilot for a Ratchet & Clank TV show, or this is a animated prequel to Rift Apart. But
I kind of feel like
that's a Dimensionator, so I don't think so.
Oh, that's a good point.
I think it was apparently it's meant to maybe build hype in anticipation of Rift Apart, but not necessarily be connected to it story-wise or a prequel to it. This whole thing is just so disjointed. Like, why wouldn't they be shouting this from the rooftops if the whole point is to drum up hype for Rift Apart? It's weird.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So apparently, Canada does not have HBO Max. They only have Crave TV, so they think this might end up on HBO Max in the States.
There's something really weird and comical about going to HBO Max to watch a Ratchet and Clank animated short geared toward kids. There's something really odd about that.
I had to laugh because Cool Sebastian in the chat sounded like you said Rift of Fart. Which
that is not out of the line of Ratchet and Clank titles.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
Is that the joke they're going with?
I mean, what would you do in a game called Rift of Fart? Would you?
Do
I want to know?
They have. So I don't know if you've heard this one, Steve. Do you know what they originally planned to call Ratchet and Clank All for One?
No.
Ratchet and Clank Foreplay.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot they were going to call it that. Yeah.
Yep.
It's just such like immature, low-hanging fruit humor, but that's what kind of makes it funny in its own way.
The Ratchet and Clank Crack in Time was originally clock blockers.
Wow.
Really? That I didn't know. That's actually... I really wish they'd gone with that. As cool as a Crack in Time is, I wish they'd had the moxie to move ahead with it.
They've had some times where they've had to scale back those titles.
That's
love this series so much. And it's infantile humor. It's legit funny. The series can be so legit funny. They are rated teen. Every Ratchet and Clank game, I think, is either rated E or teen. Offhand.
Rated I for infantile humor.
Nice. Real quick, I want to shout out Classy Mudkip in the chat, who suggests that Rift of Fart could be the next Wario game. But also, I know that you're a new patron as of today, I believe. So welcome to our live audience. We're glad you're here. And
welcome. I thought I recognized your name, but welcome all the same.
I could definitely see a fart-focused Wario game. That would be
of course.
That doesn't require an imaginative leap of any kind.
Also, I just want to say all Mudkip are classy, right? I don't think there's a such thing as an unclassy Mudkip. That's just
true.
me, but
yeah, true.
Yeah,
I'd have to see this video myself, because I've honestly not seen the movie. I've never went and saw the Ratchet and Clank movie. I didn't hear great things. I just missed out on my chance to see it in theaters. I didn't even bother watching it on Netflix, which is a shame because I liked how they got a lot of the original voice actors.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how this all goes. But
yeah, sure.
Well, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic.
All right. There we go.
All right. A Taiwanese ratings board has rated the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles for PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC, and as well as Tales from the Borderlands for Switch and a PS5 native version of Genshin Impact. And even more, man, Taiwanese rating board is going nuts. I only heard about the
Right.
Great Ace Attorney stuff. Which,
Those are the big ones, though.
Yeah, that's not that. Let's be honest, that's the big one because it's also been kind of confirmed thanks to that Capcom ransomware leak. So hopefully this means, hey, it's coming soon.
I'm so excited. Like, as I've said many times, my wife and I played Ace Attorney 1, 2, and 3 on WiiWare, and she and I both love the series. But it's so special to be able to experience that series together on the big screen, and it just wasn't the same when we tried to play Apollo Justice on my DS, like cramped together. So even though it isn't 4, 5, and 6, which is what I really want to be able to play on TV with her, it's still more Ace Attorney.
Yeah, which apparently is coming. And from everything I've heard, these two games are way better than 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, better than all three of them? I heard they're better than 4, but I hadn't heard they're better than all three of them. Interesting.
Yeah.
These well, either way, I'm excited. Yeah.
Definitely talked about in the same vein as, like, this is an amazing, amazing two games.
Nice.
I think there's a deeper implication for this story, though, and that is that we got to be getting in the next week a Nintendo Direct, because I mean, this isn't the only thing we've seen. We've had this ratings board leak. NW Player 123 found an update for an unannounced Star Wars game on the eShop.
Oh, right.
I mean,
all right.
When the stars begin to align this way, when we start seeing ratings coming,
all of a sudden, a lot of like
games we didn't even know existed yet.
Yeah,
it
has been a fair bit. Yeah, it has been a fair bit of time between our last partner direct. So yeah, you might be onto something, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for it to be a larger general direct, but I don't even know if
I would
exist anymore.
Yeah, I hope so, but yeah.
The only downside to this is if we are getting a partner direct soon, that really pours water on the idea that I've seen floated that on the 21st we'll get a Zelda direct, because that would be the 35th actual anniversary of Zelda.
Oh, Nintendo doesn't care about that.
They don't care. They're not. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
I agree, but as a Zelda fan, I really just want it to be true.
Oh, same.
Oh, true. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, no, I mean, let's get a Zelda Direct and announce, a Twilight Princess Wind Waker HD dual pack for Switch, Skyward Sword HD for Switch.
You're going to buy it. You'll get each individual and you'll like it, Ash. I can't imagine. I cannot imagine. Like, we might have had Mario games bundled together. I cannot imagine them bundling Zelda games together.
No, I know. And what I want is just upscaled ports of Ocarina, Majora 3DS. I'm sure what we'll get is just straight up ROM dumps of the N64 version.
I was about to say the same thing. If we get a collection of any kind, it's Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and nothing's been done to them. They're somehow worse, just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
Adam Davis says, Link to the Past remake in the style of Awakening? Sure. Yeah, as long as we can get a locked 60 FPS in this case. Normally I'm not a stickler for that kind of stuff, but the frame drops were
throw you off a
noticeable
lot
in Link's Awakening. So as long as that can be fixed. Yeah.
I was not the biggest fan of Link's Awakening. I still think getting the Oracle games in that style is a no-brainer.
Yes. As Rob Armanek says, Capcom Zelda games, please. Yes, I want the Oracle games to come back so badly.
Oracle, and give Minish Cap some love. People who play Minish Cap love Minish Cap.
Yeah, or go back to what the original plan for the Oracle games was, because remember they were originally supposed to be 3 games.
Three.
So go back and make the third game, and let's just have all 3 of them. That would be awesome.
That'd be wild.
Oh man,
yeah.
It would also so not be what Nintendo's going to do.
No, never going to happen. This is all pie in the sky, never going to happen stuff.
Yeah. That being said, this Taiwanese rating stuff, it's 100% legit. There's no reason to.
Yeah, these usually come out and.
Well, yeah, because we also had a similar issue happen with No More Heroes 1 and 2 for the Switch. They got rated in Taiwan a long time before they just got shadow dropped. So, I would say that if a ratings board is posting something, that means they've seen it. They've played it.
Right.
So there's no reason to believe that a ratings board would post just out-and-out wrong stuff. I mean, there are rare cases where a ratings board gets their hands on something, and then for whatever reason, that game doesn't see the light of day.
Right.
The most recent example I can think of is that there was an HD remake of the original Mortal Kombat that I don't know what the story is there with Warner Brothers, but it had been submitted to ratings boards. I think even the ESRB here in America got it, and it got rated. And it still, to this day, has not been announced. So we don't know what happened there. But developers that worked on the game came out and leaked that, yeah, it's a real game. It exists. That's why we know it's a remake of Mortal Kombat 1, because it didn't out and out say, like, MK1 HD or whatever.
Right.
And then, you know, there's over the years, people have been saying, oh, it is coming out. Oh, it's not. But at least the ESRB played it.
Yeah, somebody played it.
Yeah.
And as related, Audoodle in the chat points out that we actually had this as a potential news story for today, but it didn't quite make the cut. But they point out that recently, Grezzo, the devs of Link's Awakening Switch, they just announced they're hiring for something. I believe they said hiring for something medieval and stylish, which could potentially fit the Oracle games, depending on how they want to play that, or something Zelda-esque in general. It could. I'm not saying it is, but it could potentially have to do with that.
Yeah.
But either way,
Grezzo's
up to something. Ever Oasis 2. But yeah, either way, though, Grezzo's up to something. So that could be good news for Zelda fans.
Let's hope.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump over to our next news story.
This one hurts.
Yeah. So remember the fact that there's going to be a concert? We were talking about it. I think it was in a post show. It's like, oh man, they talked about Final Fantasy VII Remake news thanks to this concert. Something cool might happen. No.
I take back what I said about this weekend. This weekend was shit because of Square. Damn it. No,
I got to spend a lovely time with my wife. It was crap.
Yeah, no, that was disappointing though, because I stayed up pretty late on Friday night and I kept reloading Twitter or refreshing
anything
Twitter.
Happen?
Nothing. A big fat nothing with a capital N happened, and it was so disappointing. I was up until like 4 a.m. still checking the hashtags on Twitter, like, what's going on with this damn concert, and nothing.
I swear to God,
Nothing
someone
happened.
at Square just loves trolling people on the internet, because, I mean, I'm reminded of when they revealed that Final Fantasy VII was coming to PlayStation or whatever, or what was it? I remember they announced to PS4, I think, and then it was just the Steam version. And it was the most deflating thing ever. This was before Remake was announced, but yeah, I don't know, man. I'm glad that I didn't stay up for this, because I remember thinking, Ash will just text me. He'll let me know. I'm just going to go to bed. And I got up.
There was
my thought was, I'll just see it in the morning, whatever.
I scrolled Twitter and I was like, okay, everybody's going to be talking about the Final Fantasy news. I'll just get it from Twitter. And I was like, nobody's talking about it. What happened?
Yeah.
And I just couldn't find it anywhere. I'm like, damn you, Square. Damn you.
Well, I think I was looking at that story you linked, Ash, and apparently it came from the whole thing came from a Recetera leaker,
right?
So,
which you never know, that could go one way or the other.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah,
I thought it was something
that's
like some statement by Square, like,
too.
we'll just keep an eye.
I actually, that was my understanding, was that Square themselves had suggested that we should be on the lookout, or at least expecting FF7 Remake news at this concert, but apparently not. So. Especially given that's the case, it's disappointing, but we can't be mad at Square for it, because if they never said it, then, there's no reason to.
Not their fault.
All right, then, that's fine. I mean, we should all know to trust Recetera leakers with a pinch of salt or a fistful of it in most cases.
To toss in their faces once it's untrue.
Exactly. Liar, fake leaker. Get out of here.
But that said, I hope we get something soon. I hope we hear something about the PS5 version soon, because I just want it. I want it so badly.
Mm-hmm. Naughty Senpai, I would love a Crisis Core remake or port. I want it. That game needs to be played more.
I would take that, because I played through, I want to say, roughly 80% of Crisis Core on the PSP, and then my memory stick got corrupted and I lost my save. And I was like, nope. And I just never finished. I didn't start it over.
You never saw the ending?
I've never seen it. No, I got so close.
The ending's fantastic.
It is amazing to see the difference between the ending of Crisis Core and what they showed in the original game, because Zack goes out like a punk. Like, I remember watching it, like seeing that scene for the first time as a kid. It's like, man, he sucks. Because it's brutal. Because all you see is him talking. All of a sudden, he gets shot in the back and dies. And they're like, it's brutal because he's laying on the ground, apparently already dead. And the soldier with the gun just comes up to him and just starts piling his body full of bullets. It's like, holy crap!
It's really messed up. Yeah. And the way Crisis Core shows that same scene is completely different and a total reinterpretation and much better. Zach does not, as Derek said, go out like a punk. Although that's pretty brutal, man. I'm not sure. That's really
you have to understand. This is my first RPG. I'm used to these people doing amazing things. Cloud I'll never live up to Zach and looking at what Cloud was doing throughout the entire game, and then look at Zach in this one scene That kind of sucks.
I just unfortunately don't think we're ever going to get Crisis Core ported or remade unless it's done so without Gact. Gact is the reason, I understand. That
but why do considering 7 Remake, they might pull that off.
Yeah, I hope so, because as much as I enjoy the lovable goofiness of the dumb character that was Genesis, he's not needed. He's not necessary at all. Just cut him.
I love how they made this whole big thing out of Loveless. That one sign that was shown at the very beginning of 7. Yeah. It's like, let's build a whole play out of this.
Yeah. And Genesis was just the absolute just poster child for a dumb Square Enix villain. Square Enix has a lot of great villains, but they also have a lot of not so great villains. And Genesis was emblematic of their worst villains, in my opinion. Which is not to say that I didn't enjoy him when he was on screen, because he was just easy to laugh at. But I'm FF7 doesn't need you. We don't need.
At least he got a good fight in there with Sephiroth and
that was a badass fight. Yeah, that was a cool fight.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's go ahead and put up a next topic.
All right.
So, Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa has commented on the company's approach to developing new hardware and ensures Switch has a long life cycle. And I've not had a chance to look at this. Have you read it, Ash?
I wish I'd had a chance. I've been kind of busy today, same as you guys. But it's essentially an interview with, Nikkei, Japanese publication Nikkei.
Of course, Nikkei.
It's just essentially talking about the Switch's life cycle apart from console development in general. And Furukawa says Nintendo is always doing technical and market research when it comes to creating new hardware, which is pretty obvious. But he also said that the thing that makes an idea a reality is whether we can offer a new experience or not. And that is such a Nintendo line. They're always talking about that newness. It has to offer something new and unprecedented. And that certainly has not changed where Nintendo is concerned.
Yeah, that's always sort of their thing.
The key takeaway here is he says that even though that the Switch is entering its 5th year on the market, he still considers it to be in the middle of its life cycle. So he doesn't say that it's winding down or it's getting a little long in the tooth, which, I think we all kind of suspect that at this point, that the Switch is going to be one of the longer running consoles of Nintendo's history because of the fact that we are going into the 5th year and it's doing great. It's still fine.
It's not slowing down at all. And honestly, it's perfect at this point as development gets more and more expensive on the PS, 5 and Xbox Series X. Here's a great chance for middle road games, not extremely expensive. You can have some AA games in there and have some cool experiences.
And I gotta say, it's wild to me that it is even entering the 5th year of its life, because I don't know about you guys, but the Switch doesn't feel that old to me. It doesn't feel that old to me. It's weird. I know hardware-wise it's obviously aging quite a bit, but I still think that the experience it offers, in terms of being a portable console, I feel like it surprisingly really didn't have to give up that much to achieve that portability aspect. I still think Switch games, the best Switch games at least, look really nice. Obviously, compared to something like PS5, no. PS5's several cuts above visually, but I still think the best Switch games look beautiful, even on 4K TVs and such.
Mm-hmm.
I think they look good, but as somebody who is deeply, I don't want to say critical of visual presentation in games, but I'm a keen observer of how the games are presented and how they look.
Sure.
I mean, Switch games are starting to look a little long in the tooth. They're performance-wise. So, for instance, I was talking about this with some friends over the weekend. Bowser's Fury can get really bad at moments in terms of performance. I mean, so do you guys know the Colosseum in Bowser's Fury? I don't remember which island it's on, but it's essentially a Colosseum. Every objective, you go indoors and you fight.
Oh, I haven't gotten that far yet in Bowser's Fury, no.
Okay, well, there are several different cat shines you can get that involve you fighting, right? Big surprise. Mario has to fight bosses from time to time. If you're fighting a boss and Bowser shows up while you're doing that, I mean, the game slows down to, no joke, probably somewhere around 15 frames per second. And it stays that way throughout the entire fight. It's real bad. It's I was pointing it out to someone because someone... actually, it was our friend John Cartwright. We were talking about it, and he mentioned how he loves Bowser's Fury, and I agree with him. It's really cool, and I do think it's a hint at the future of 3D Mario, but you can tell that the Switch is really struggling at moments to realize that. So I think that, you know, I can feel the age of the console when I'm playing it, but I think the thing that I love the most about the Switch, even in year 5, is that the gimmick the Switch has of being a hybrid console is not a gimmick, because it has standed the test of time. I still think it is incredibly cool every time I am playing a game on my TV and I just pop the damn thing out of the dock and the game is right there on a portable console, because, as you mentioned, Ash, the games don't look portable. They don't no. Even 5 years on, they don't look like portable games. I still don't have that mindset that these are portable games. I still have the mindset that I am picking up a console game and taking it with me, and that doesn't get old. I mean, I still love that concept. And as someone mentioned in the chat, I will be really, really sad if Nintendo ditches this approach at any point. If they come
I can't imagine them doing that at this point. It's proven so popular.
Right. They've carved out this brand new market segment for themselves. And how do you go back to a traditional model after this?
Especially when handheld's been their space that they've dominated since the beginning. Nobody's been able to challenge Nintendo in the handheld market outside of cell phones, which arguably they're so different in targets there, and mobile and handheld gaming is so popular in Japan. It'd be a weird foothold to give up one.
I agree.
I just don't see them doing it. Yeah, the portability aspect is too core. It's too much of a core component to what the Switch is at its root. Sorry, Steve. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say I agree with you guys. I look at the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X, and when I consider the size and the weight of these things, I'm amazed by what Nintendo manages to pull off on such a comparatively tiny machine. And if we do get a Switch Pro that uses, I don't care, DLSS or whatever to get up to 4K, because I will say, I don't think that the Switch looks particularly great on a 4K TV, especially the UI. The UI
doesn't
under 1080p, so it looks like a buffering YouTube video when I'm going through the
UI
menus.
looks pretty bad.
And there are parts of games like Xenoblade Chronicles, when it hits all the way down to 540p or whatever it goes down to at its bottom resolution, it looks rough, especially on a bigger TV. It looks great in handheld mode. And I think there are several games like that. Even Odyssey scales its resolution down quite a bit in certain kingdoms. I would love to see if Nintendo could just get this thing to a consistent 1080p everywhere, like in games, in the dashboard, in everything else. I would be happy. If we got some kind of AI upscaling to 4K, I'd be even happier. But I do think that the Switch is probably... I agree that it probably has at least another 5 years in it. Because what is Nintendo going to do? What are they going to call a next hybrid console? I mean, because I agree that they can't. They've kind of painted themselves into a weird corner because they've found what everybody wants from them. And if they ditch that concept, there has to be some compelling reason to do so. And I can't imagine something more compelling than what they're doing.
I mean, it might be time to break out the naming. Like, I know some people have joked about the Switch Pro being called the Super Switch, but honestly, that might be a good idea for a sequel console.
Agreed.
Or for a half sequel console, because I mean, if really the the only sticking point people have with the Switch, other than like stuff like Joy-Con drift, is the fact that compared to the competition, it is underpowered as a TV-based experience, right? And only relatively so. Like and I think you guys, I didn't know that Bowser's Fury dropped that much during certain segments of gameplay. That's pretty rough. Same thing with, as we were saying earlier, Link's Awakening. I don't see why the Switch, being capable of what it's capable of, should not have been able to run that game at a full 60 frames per second. But when I play something like Smash on my 4K TV, that's at 1080p, and that looks fantastic on the Switch. But so there are. It's only relatively so. But I do think that a Super Switch or what have you, Switch Pro, positioned at the right time to kind of coincide with Switch sales starting to taper off, is a really great strategy to keep interest and sales up for the original Switch, giving them even more time until whatever their next big console release is. But yeah, I mean, if they can address what seems to be really the main issue people have, which is lack of 4K and lack of power for performance, if they can do that with a Switch Pro, they buy themselves a few more years to get their next big console ready. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, might as well go ahead and switch over to our next topic, huh?
Switch over, nice.
I know, he's like unintentional. Because it kind of ties into this, speaking of, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury has reached #1 in the UK software charts, selling 3 times as many copies as the original Wii U. Now, granted, UK is a very granular piece of data, but they're also the most forthcoming, which is why a lot of UK sales are shown. And they kind of give you a basic idea of how well it's selling, and for the most part across the world, and all that. So the fact that it's selling 3 times as many copies as the original, yeah, that tracks. This game's going to sell gangbusters. It makes, yeah.
Yeah. As it should. Yeah. I'm really glad this game has gotten a second lease on life on the Switch, just because 3D World was already overlooked because it was on the Wii U, but doubly so because it was not necessarily what people were expecting from the next big 3D Mario at the time. But neither of those things stopped it from being a fantastic game in its own right, and I'm so glad people get to experience it properly now on a platform that people actually own, because it really is a great Mario game.
Yeah, I haven't touched the 3D World side of the package yet. I decided I was going to 100% Bowser's Fury over the weekend, and like I mentioned, I spent a lot of family time this weekend, so I wasn't on my Switch nearly as much as I am other weekends. But I really like Bowser's Fury. I think that it is a really great companion piece to a full game. I don't think that it would be worth $60 on its own, but I also don't think 3D World would be worth $60 on its own in 2021. I think putting them together makes a lot of sense, and from what I understand, there's been some great quality of life stuff done to 3D World to make it feel better, like the speed and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So
it feels like almost like a different game, Steve. Like, as someone who 100%, and I mean 100%ed the shit out of the original 3D World, so I played it a lot. Immediately when you start playing this new version, it's like a 30% speed increase, and it just makes all the difference. Like, it fixes the one thing I didn't like about 3D World, basically.
You weren't here. You were part of the stream we did with Kat, with Kat and John for the 3D World. But John said they did an experiment of testing Peach's. What they do? Peach's speed against Toad's speed in?
Oh yeah, Peach's Wii U speed versus Toad's. Peach's Switch speed. Right?
Compared to Toad's Wii U speed.
Toad's Wii U
Peach
speed.
beat him.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
That is insane.
That's to give you an idea.
And walking actually serves a purpose now. Walking actually lets you move at a brisk enough pace that you don't, that there's a reason to sometimes do it, as opposed to always being or holding down the dash button.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, that's good to know. I mean, I liked the game fine on Wii U. And honestly, were it not for the upgrades, I probably wouldn't come back to it on Switch. So I'm excited to hear about that and actually try it. Well, the online alone is a big enough upgrade for me, just because it's still a pandemic. I would like to play this with someone. So
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I've not tried Bowser's Fury yet. I just haven't had time. I played a little bit of 3D World itself, but I'm still got to focus on that Persona 5 Strikers review, so I have not touched Bowser's Fury.
I've dipped my toes in it. I've gotten maybe 15 cat shines or so, and I certainly plan on 100%ing it, but I've just been, still kind of preoccupied by not only the original 3D World, just kind of playing it at this new speed, but also I'm still finishing up The Last of Us Part 2, so I'm still kind of distracted by that. But what I've played of Bowser's Fury, I like it. It feels a bit more like a proof of concept than a fully fleshed out 3D Mario experience. So I have some complaints about it, but I do enjoy it, and I'm certainly going to 100% it.
I agree with you 100% on that take, Ash. I feel like Bowser's Fury is a proof of concept the same way the Wild Area in Sword and Shield is a proof of concept for the future of their respective series.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see what comes of both.
Oh my god. Yeah. Man, I am telling you right now, just to get off track for a minute, if the Wild Area from Sword and Shield is what the next mainline Pokemon game is based off of, it'll be one of my favorite games of all time. No joke. Nice. I live for the idea of just a fully 3D
Have you played the
Pokemon
DLC?
Game. I have not.
Have you played the Pokemon? It gets close, because that's them just expanding upon that, like, here's a building in it. Here's a kind of a small town in it. And it gets you closer to what you expect.
All right, I got.
That makes me really want to play the DLC now, even though I haven't even played the original.
So you can definitely see that's kind of where they're going. And the really interesting thing to me is, people are asking for a Gen 4 remake. Well, guess what? If Gen 4 gets a remake, it's being done in the Sword and Shield engine. And would they take Sword and Shield and turn it into that kind of Wild Area concept?
Oh my god, dude!
I feel like they
take
won't do
not
that.
Sword and Shield, but take
Oh yeah,
sorry, Pearl and Diamond.
Sinnoh, yeah,
Sinnoh.
I would posit that they wouldn't do that, just because, given what we've seen of the remake so far in Pokemon, we know that Game Freak likes to go pretty conservative with new ideas and such, especially in terms of world design. So I kind of assume that they're going to just hew pretty closely to the original layout of Sinnoh, and then maybe reserve their next, really going all in on the Wild Area idea for Gen 9.
Right.
Or,
That's kind of what I expect, but it would be rather shocking. But Gen 9, I think, is definitely where they'll show it off.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But we're probably still about 2-3 years out from Gen 9.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
All right.
Indeed.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into our final topic of the night.
There we go.
So, Resident Evil Outrage, allegedly once known as Resident Evil Revelations 3, is in development and will supposedly be announced soon as a timed exclusive on the Switch. Where is this rumor coming from?
This is coming from Dusk Golem, who has successfully reported on other Capcom and especially Resident Evil related rumors on Twitter. So it's Dusk Golem on Twitter, at Aesthetic Gamer. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So definitely
cool.
This person has they have a fairly successful track record with Resident Evil related leaks in the past. So take it with a grain of salt, as always, of course. But but I think we've known for a while that there may have been a Revelations 3 style game in development.
According to Rob Arman X in the chat, this was also confirmed in that Capcom leak a while back.
Right, exactly.
Oh, okay.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. According to this, Outrage is 100% the RE engine, though the RE engine that's compatible with Switch, like Monster Hunter Rise. It won't be the best looking Resident Evil game, but it'll still look pretty good, especially on Switch. Which, considering the Revelation series started out on a 3DS, that makes sense. That tracks with this offshoot. I've not actually tried any of the Revelations games.
Nor have I.
Oh, they're quite good. Yeah, I didn't play either of them in their entirety, but I played quite a bit of both of them, and they're good, bite-sized, kind of standard Resident Evil experiences, if that makes any sense. It's kind of where the slightly safer Resident Evil games are set, it being the Revelation series. At least that's what it feels like to me. But I like that about it, and they're very reliably good, in my opinion, or they have been so far.
That's good.
Yeah. The only thing is, I hope that whatever this is, Outrage, Revelations 3, whatever, I hope it's named after the outrage I feel at Sheva only being in one game so far. Because, damn it, bring Sheva back! Sheva's awesome!
Isn't Revelations usually used to bring back characters that aren't used much? Like, who was featured in 2?
Claire. It was Claire and...
first time she's been back in a while, so...
It was Claire and... I can't remember her partner character's name, but yeah, Claire was the main character.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Sheva will get in. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
That'd be cool.
It would be nice. But yeah, I mean, what a cool character. And Barry, but who's Barry's daughter is who I'm talking about. So yeah, Barry is in Revelations 2. But I was actually talking about Barry's daughter who travels with Claire. I can't remember her name at the moment. But yeah, okay. You actually do get to play as Barry as well, which he's also a character that hasn't been around for a while.
That's a character that doesn't get much love outside of the first game.
Yeah.
I think the most we got out of him was like apparently all the epilogue endings from the original Resident Evil 3. So, yeah. But yeah, hey, more Resident Evil, always good. It's a series I need to play more of. I've played a fair chunk and enjoyed, but I've not played original 2, original 3. I've not played 6. I haven't played any of the Revelations games. There's a fair amount of gaps in there that I'd like to fill in.
Her name's Moira, by the way. That's Barry's daughter's name, Moira.
Nice.
Yeah.
Especially because 6 seems to be getting a bit of a re-evaluation as of late, where it's like, it's not exactly Resident Evil, but it's still fun.
Yeah, I enjoy what I played of 6, even though I understand why people who don't like it dislike it.
Especially at the time.
It's very action heavy. Yeah, it's very action heavy. Certainly goes away from the survival horror thing more than any other game in the series has thus far, but I actually still kind of enjoyed it. But again, I'm also a super casual Resident Evil fan, so...
Right.
Yeah, I need to try it. I kind of like the more action-heavy games, so I might like 6.
Yeah.
I've never touched it.
Juan in the chat asking the truly important question, though, but where's Mega Man X9? Indeed. Yeah. Indeed. That is the truly important question here.
Of course. Of course. But, that is pretty much all the news for today and the weekend. So, a couple of interesting bits in there. We'll have to see what happens for the rest of the week. But with that, we have covered all the major headlines from today's news. Before we sign off, though, we do have to give a special thanks to all of our patrons, whether you're at $1 or, the max amount. All of you truly mean the world to us. But of course, we have to give a special thank you to everyone at the producer tier for helping to make this show happen. And in addition, a massive, massive thank you to our patrons at the executive producer tier and above. And those fine folks include, let's bring them up. Here we go. Jonathan Belmare, Brandon Bovia, Rob Arman X, Dan Entwistle, Z Patty, Hyrule Hermit, Sky Blue Flames, Adam O'Sullivan, Richard Herrera, Michael Phone, Floating Mew, Aiko Carroll, a new upgraded pledge.
Yes.
Pledge. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Aiko.
Yeah, thank you. Christopher, The D-Pad, Guillaume Monet, Vesmio, Waffle King, Nick Waterman, Kitty Kong Facts, Vedran Hotik, Macalau, John, Joshua Hunter, Evernight Studio, Benny Yao, Shadow the Cat, Azran127, Ken Roulette 09, Jake Pelka, Geller, Shiny Turkey, Joseph Rutkin, Titus Malvolio, Charlie Bird, Mitchell Herring, Lucky Wonderfish, Top Dog 23100, Brooke, Young Ben Kenobi, Charles Zaz, Douglas Chomix, Andrew Medeiros, RM M, Brady Power, Phantom 223, Scott Barber, Patrick Harrison, Rocks the Cat, Loyal Dingo, Flaming Highwayman, Sean Garrett, The Legend of Groose, Eddie B, Kai Ed, Kit Fisto, West Egg, Master Lynx, Sean Davis, Denith, Jackson Jordan, Michael McCall, Matthew Wong, Ashish Joshi, Goron Amber, Straight Lace, Seth Walker, Hoobie, Marcos Conscious, Wolf X Blake and Moon Macarons, Kane, Captain Finlandia, 60 Minutes in 60 Seconds, The Game Orb, Dano the Artist, Synchro Lord, Brainchild, Rosa Bowling,
Hi, Mom.
Dark Umi, The Flying Tacos, Scuff196, and our newest patron that just upgraded, Naughty Senpai. Thank you all so much.
Man, I'm gonna like make this a full body workout.
You're really gonna lose some weight doing all these EP dances.
Well, I sure
again
need
exclusive to the live shows.
Right, I certainly need to lose a little weight, so that works out for all involved.
Remember that you too can become a patron over at patreon.com/gvgaming, where you can watch today's news tonight live and catch Ash's dance for as little as $5 a month. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to Good Vibes Gaming for more good times like these. And until next time, good night, good vibes.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.